I was rejected at some point by my father growing up. That actually really hurt me growing up. The first time I saw him was on TV. I found myself because I was lost for like the longest time. I'm a very curious person. So I started asking myself the questions: why, which, what, how? And then I can say I found myself enough to know that I matter. I'm going to call this number. If no one picks, I'm going to... And if I do, don't you dare send me to hellfire. That was what I told God. You know, words affect me. I'm a Christian. I have been taught that faith comes by hearing and hearing by the word of God. So anything you hear, you become. So I have learned that from like early stages of my life. If someone gave you like a blanket check now, like pick your role. I said, well, I'm going to pick a role of being a pastor's wife struggling with addiction.
Wow. Are there stories you are afraid to tell?
In the past years, I used to be afraid. For example, coming out as saying, oh, I'm an asylum seeker. That was something I wanted to take to my grave, actually. One of the things I put on my Instagram bio is inspired by pain, birthed by divinity, because
it's the African possibility. Your narrative starts now. Your narrative starts now. Welcome to the podcast.
Today on the African Possibility podcast, I am honored to welcome Teejay Olakojo, a remarkable woman whose journey speaks to courage, reinvention, creativity, and the strength it takes to begin again in unfamiliar places. As a refugee in the United Kingdom, Teejay's story carries the weight of displacement, uncertainty, and survival, but it also carries something even deeper: the refusal to be defined only by hardship. She brings with her a powerful voice for talent, creativity, enterprise, and the possibility of rebuilding life with dignity and purpose. In this conversation, we explore Teejay's journey, her experience of starting all over, the gifts and talents that have shaped her path, and her belief in entrepreneurship as a way of creating value, identity, and hope. This is not just a conversation about migration or struggle. It is a conversation about resilience, about voice and creativity, and what it means to turn pain into purpose. So settle in and let's get into it. Thank you, Teejay, for coming to the African Possibility podcast. It's quite interesting to have you here. You operate at the intersection of creativity, faith, and entrepreneurship. Mm-hmm. At what point did you realize that these three parts were not a separate part of your life, but part of your life journeys?
I think at the end of the day, like, I don't have to choose one out of the three. I do whatever I do because of my passion and because of my calling. And I really like the fact that you said intersection of faith, creativity, and entrepreneurship, because the list actually goes on and on and on. But basically, I do everything I do because I want to solve a problem. Because I usually tell people I'm a gap filler, so I don't have to choose any, because the faith is the background, is the foundation of everything I do. Creativity is who I am, like in the blood, and entrepreneurship comes as a result of wanting to solve problems. I don't know if I've answered the question.
Right. Yeah. So that is very important, because, like I said, for me, what I've you are that kind of person that fuse all the three together: creativity, faith, and entrepreneurship all in one as a person. So what does it cost emotionally to pursue visibility, to pursue identity, and to pursue creativity as a content creator or as a creative abroad?
It costs a lot.
Yeah.
Like, people have said a lot of things to me. I've heard a lot of limitations, especially from... Now, I'm not even going to lie. At some point, I felt like it was people that were like, that look like me, that say, oh, you can't do this and blah, blah, blah. But I think now I'm beginning to see that it's whoever has this insecurity, and they project their insecurities on you. it costs a lot because you're gonna even lose friends along the journey. There are friends that have told me you can't do that, and I do it, and then they just fall off because they don't believe I could do it, or they feel like I had to do something extra, maybe something illegal to get to anything I'm doing. So like at the end of the day, it costs sleep. Everyone knows that. It costs. You just have to keep going. Like it costs you. Like, and I like the fact that you said emotionally, because it's emotionally draining sometimes, because
Right.
people don't even believe what you have to offer.
Right.
Sometimes I usually tell people I'm an actor first before anything. I'm a believer, let's get that straight.
Yeah.
But aside that, in the secular world, I can't go to an audition and say, oh yeah, I'm born again, give me the role.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So but even because I'm in a predominantly white society, and there's this girl who came into the country looking like me, and she said she wants to be an actor. Wow. In 2026, people don't like to hear that. They tell you you're deceiving yourself, and you get a lot of no's, and then you cry, and you go back to the drawing board, and then one person I really admire is Tyler Perry. I have his book. One of the title of his book is "I Is Waiting," and he made mention of something recently that I read. He said, not all roads have to be blocked. I don't see failures. I see a maze. So if it's not going straight, it can go right. You know, same dream, same vision, different routes.
Right.
And that has always been my mentality towards anything in life. I'm gonna get there. I might just not go through the routes you feel I should, or if a route is closing, I have to find a way. So yeah, it costs a lot, because even your family members don't even see that. You know, you have to be the one that carries the vision. And it's sometimes lonely. I've gone through a lot of isolation because of it. And then once I'm able to do the things I want to do, people are like, oh, really? This is what you... But, you know, the process is very sometimes lonely, which is why I love the fact that I'm also a scriptwriter, because it gives me opportunities to journal. I write down the feelings of pain. One of the things I put on my Instagram bio is inspired by pain, you know, birthed by divinity, because these things are like struggles, you know, like imagine having a lot of limitations in your ears, and then you're like, I really want to create this. So a lot of what people call success for me today came out of the fact that people said I couldn't do it. And it wasn't because I wanted to prove them wrong. I wanted to prove to myself that I could do it.
Possible, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I love the fact that you mentioned inspired by pain, because I've seen that on your bio, and I was going to ask you to tell me about that phrase, inspired by pain. It's quite pregnant, and birth it now.
Yeah. Oh, well, so I went for an interview, like a panel discussion, actually, with Martin of MKI Models. He's the founder of MKI Models, and he asked me a question. He said, what makes you create? What is that thing that inspires you? And I said, my struggles. Because, like I said, I'm a gap filler. So I'm this person that I'm an ambivert, right? So I have like 51% introverted and extroverted personality. So sometimes people are like in a group discussing things, and people are just saying the obvious, and I'm just in one corner saying, but nobody is talking about this thing. And I sometimes struggle to even talk about it. So eventually when I say, oh, what about this? And they're like, oh yeah, that's what we've been waiting for. So I eventually saw that I have a talent of seeing gaps, you know, and so my struggles are things that people, you know, the news doesn't necessarily talk about, and people are even shy to talk about it. No one wants to come out to say, oh my boyfriend beat me yesterday. No one wants to come out to say, oh yeah, I'm an asylum seeker. No one wants to come out and say that outrightly. There are a lot of struggles I've been through in life, and it's not like I'm glorifying my pain, but even psychologists and even spiritual counselors have told me that I've been through hell. So if they could tell me that you've been through hell, I think I And now I have to accept the fact that I've been through hell. And it's not because I'm feeling like a victim.
Yeah.
No. And I want to quickly touch on this as well. There's this person that in the past used to tell me, "Oh, why are you thinking like a victim? Stop thinking like a victim." And then each time I face something in life, I want to just quickly rush through it. Oh yeah, don't think like a victim. Brush yourself up. Don't have the victim mentality and whatever.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned, faith. I'm a very spiritual person. I have a personal relationship with God, and I hear the Holy Spirit. I have to say that. I know is in this day and age, people use that thing anyhow, but I can confirm from my journey that I've heard some certain things and I've been directed to some certain things. So one of the things that I heard recently is you are actually a victim in some areas. You have to accept it. If you accept that you've been through stuff and you're a victim, that is like the first stage to recovery. Then we can know what the problem actually is. But if you keep brushing it away and like, oh yeah, I have to be strong, you are going to have repression. You're going to just keep repressing the feelings, and then, it's going to come out one day in a very bad way. Or you're going to have toys, what people call toys, to play with. And these toys look like addiction. They come out in different forms, So like, I had to come to terms with the fact that I've been through pain, and my pain inspired me because I don't want to see another person go through it. So, and eventually, once I started getting the courage to say, yeah, I've been through pain, this is what I've been through, and I want to make a film out of this, I want to make a podcast out of this, I want to make a post out of this, I want to write about this. People come back to me and say, oh, thank you for seeing me. Thank you for telling my story. So I've seen that it's working. The reason I'm going through what I've been through, or I'm going through right now, is not only for me. I want someone to say, if TJ can do it, I can do it. So that's the whole thing about being inspired by pain.
Yeah. So TJ, can you just tell me about some of the pains you've gone through in life?
That's deep.
I know.
Okay, this is the moment of truth. Something I've been struggling to say.
Right.
Well, I have a couple of childhood traumas, and I know a lot of people have. I was rejected at some point by my father growing up. So that actually, really hurt me growing up, because my father is somebody that in my environment, everyone knew him. So imagine people talking about your dad beside you in the bus, and it's so annoying because this person doesn't really, care about you. The first time I saw him was on TV. Yeah. So, things like that. How do you process that kind of pain? And who would have to, like, people just tell you, yeah, it's fine, you'll be fine, And as a female child, our father is our first hero. So, like, having an absent dad is one of the biggest pains that I had to walk through in life, and a couple of childhood traumas. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot. Even growing up, I am a very different person. I don't want to call myself special. I'll call myself different, And the way I think, I found out that a lot of my peers don't think that way. So it created pain as well, because they're like, she's always saying big things. She's too ambitious. I remember when I was in my MA drama, I was the only Black person in class. And I didn't even realize I was the only Black person until they made me realize I was the only Black person. Yeah. That's pain, because now they start to show and tell you, you're not like us. You don't deserve to be here. They don't say it verbatim, but the way they act,
exactly,
and everything, that's pain, and I could go on and on. There's a lot. So a lot of those things caused struggles, internal struggles, caused some patterns as well. I've been to Women College of Ministry. Shout out to Funke Adetuberu. She was one of the people that God used to really bring me out of some of these struggles, because she also has like a similar story to me. So, I found out that you don't have to stay in that bubble. You can ask questions, because I started seeing patterns of unhealthy relationships in my life.
Yeah.
And I didn't know it was because I was looking for a father figure in, my relationships. So I had to work it out, So I got inspired by that to create like films. I've done Scarlet. Scarlet is Scarlet is the story of a prostitute that has a therapist in the house, but she's still going to continue anyways. And I also like telling complex stories as well. One of the things I wanted to do with Scarlett, which I think I probably would do in the future, is to put a Bible, where she was, but yeah, the director took it out eventually. I didn't even realize because I was playing Scarlett as well.
Mm.
I wanted people to see that, yeah, you can be a Christian and also be a prostitute. I know it's a bit controversial, but these things happen. People struggle. You can be a Christian and be a smoker. You can be addicted to porn and still go to church and even preach. These are the kind of stories I like to tell. And these are because I've seen it. I grew up in a very controversial environment, very complex environment, and I'm even amazed how I was able to survive a lot of the things I survived. So I figured, after also reading books of people like Joyce Meyer, more so listening to our messages and watching our sermons, that there's a reason why you've been through everything you've been through. Wow. Your mess can be your message. And I think that's my mentality, why I get inspired. Whenever I'm really pained about stuff and I cry, I just start writing. And eventually I make something out of it, and keeps coming up.
Yeah, so when you say it sounded like a contradiction, like porn and the Bible and Christian and all of that. So in that kind of story, what will you be looking out for? What will be the end of that kind of story?
Most of my stories, I like to give a glimpse of hope.
Right.
I don't have to solve the problem because I'm not God. Yeah. Everyone has different...
Because the story comes from a perspective. It comes from your own perspective.
Yeah. It comes from sometimes not only my perspective, sometimes because I love researching, hence my degrees. Yeah. I love to do a lot of research. So, for example, Scarlett came from, so this was what happened with Scarlett, right? I finished film school. I wanted to do a film. I did film school in Nigeria. Then I also did Women College of Ministry before going to film school. And then at the time, I was actually going for therapy in Nigeria. And nobody knew in my family. I was just going. So I would leave class. After school hours, my mates will know where I've gone. I've gone to the hospital actually to do therapy, psychological therapy. And then I go to my shop. So, I had the time to process that. And then also from Women College of Ministry, I saw women, because in Women College of Ministry, you're not allowed to record anything. They tell you switch off your phones because you're going to hear real life stories of women, pastors' wives, what they're going through. And then I was able to see a lot of women, go through stuff, and then things they're not even proud to say that they're doing because of neglect or because of their childhood and everything. So I've seen a lot. And I also had friends, I could see that my friends, some of them really, really want to serve God. It's just that they feel so condemned because they feel like God wouldn't accept them, and they go to church. Are you going to say, so it's a very complex society. There is no one linear. If you're too lenient for me, you're not even going to be interested to me. I want to see the complexities, and I think that's what drove me into storytelling, filmmaking, wanting to tell the stories of people that the society has said, oh yeah, just let them be, and those just the outcasts. Yeah.
So you made mention of a glimmer of hope, in your stories and all of that. So what I'm thinking is that in those stories that you tell and the films that you were making, is there some kind of hope that things can get better, things gets better or got better at the end of it all?
Oh, like I said, I don't always give the solution, but I give a glimpse of hope. So the way I think it's just my own style of writing.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, not everybody would come out of whatever thing they are in. But I'm going to give you like a glimpse to see if she or he does that, possibly, there's going to be a way out. For example, Breaking is one of the films I've done. And that's about an asylum seeker in the UK that is ambitious, Like, that's like two contradicting things, As an asylum seeker, you're not meant to be ambitious.
Exactly.
You just want to be safe. And this is an asylum seeker that has dreams. And so, like, does she make it eventually? I think it's up to her to, if she doesn't want, that's the thing, because life is complex. I don't want to show you like, oh yeah, she's gonna make it. No,
She made it.
it's life is not like that. That's the truth. So, but I'll give you like a hint of, okay, if she keeps going on that way, maybe she's gonna, be able to. And the thing is, I've been able to do just short films. If I had a budget or like the money to do like a full, feature film or a series, because there was a time I did an underrepresented writers lab with NFTS, that's National Film and Television School. And then here in Wales, I got Bursary, shout out to them, and then I was developing the story as well from a lot of relationship outbreaks. It started like that and it became comedy. I didn't realize it had become comedy, so it's the story of this girl just seeing all her exes talking to. So imagine you're talking to all your exes at once, they're just coming in your head and say, what would this person say to you right now? And then it became comedy. And one of the questions my teacher asked me was, where do you see this story going? And that was where I was able to develop this character, a fully fledged character of, okay, you know what? Because the character is somebody that is pressured by her Nigerian mom to go get married, but she's struggling, right? So if I had the opportunity to do stories like that, I would even go to the background of the mom. Why is the mom pressuring her to marry? Is there more to it? Is it because it's something there's so much to say, because I don't like to give excuses for people, but people don't just do things. There's a background story to it. So even me saying, oh yeah, I feel rejected by my father or whatever. What is this background? Why did he do that? So these are the things I like to address in my movie. So if I had the opportunity to do like a fully fledged, feature-length film series, I like to do what I call a character surgery. Let's go deep, into the background of this person. Why are they doing this? What do they like? What do they hate? If they had this opportunity, would they have done better? Things like that.
Yeah, so you've gone through a lot of pain, just like you've said, and you've gone through a lot. Are you there now? Have you found peace now? Are you in that state of flow now where you are okay or happy? Or I know you still think of the past because it helps you to project into the future, but have you found that peace that you've always desired?
That's a very good thing. Good question. I mean, okay, so I'm going to say this again, and I hope I don't get dragged for it, right? As much as I'm a Christian and they say, oh yeah, Jesus brings you peace. Once you have Jesus, you have peace. Let's tell the truth. Peace does not come every single day. Sometimes there is a lot going on and then you don't even have the peace. So for me, I would say, I wouldn't call it peace though. I would call it, have I found myself? Because I was lost for like the longest time. And then I'm a very curious person. So I started asking myself the questions, why, which, what, how. And then I found myself. I can say I found myself enough to know that I matter. And as long as I think I matter, regardless of whatever pain comes, I think I will be, by God's grace, be able to overcome it.
Interesting. Yeah. So Teejay, you've got 2 masters, masters in drama and digital marketing management, and you graduated in distinction in both masters. Tell me about that.
Right. Okay. I will have to give a shout out to City of Sanctuary because they funded my master's degrees.
Interesting.
Yes. The story of my education actually came out of anxiety, came out of thought, actually. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So 1st of January 2021, I was really like, I had this spiral thought. I thought my life was going to amount to nothing. It was locked down in the UK. Like nobody was talking to anybody. I was new in the country. I was locked up. I was even in isolation because they had contacted me that I was in contact with someone that had COVID. So they said I should sit in the house for 10 days in the middle of this lockdown. Like I was like, so like there was nobody, and I was trying to, I I think I don't know if you like this moment of realization that you're just looking at yourself and you're like, oh my God, your life is finally coming to an end.
Right.
So that was the period. That was what I was facing on the 1st of January. I was just like going through a lot. And at the time, I was getting £5 voucher from the Home Office. And that was all I could get, £5 voucher every single day from the Home Office. But each time I used the voucher, it was Tesco voucher. Each time I used the voucher, I would keep the receipt. And underneath the receipt, they wrote, there's this writing that if you're feeling lonely during this coronavirus period, call British Red Cross on this number. So, if you notice anything about me, I'm a very curious person and I pay attention to details. And, people think nobody really wants to read a receipt. I don't know if you get me, but I do.
Yeah.
I'm new in this country. I'm trying to figure out what do they do? Why are they even printing the receipt like this and everything? So I kept seeing that every time and I'm like, so even if I'm feeling lonely, I'm going to call you. Really? Honestly, I didn't really think much of it, right? And as a Christian, of course, we know that they say if you say we are going to hellfire, blah blah blah. And this is not the first time thoughts were coming to my head, right? And each time they come to my head, I either pray or I talk to my pastor or something. But this time around, I was not even in that headspace to pray. There was no pastor to talk to. It was lockdown. So there was no one.
Yeah.
So I told God, I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to call this number.
Right.
This was January 1st. So I'm telling you, New Year. So I didn't expect anybody to pick that call. 2021. I didn't expect anyone to pick a call on New Year. So it was me kind of testing God. I don't know if you get me. Like, I'm going to call this number. If no one picks, I'm going to... And if I do, don't you dare send me to hellfire. That was what I told God. Honestly. So I called this number and someone picked. And I was disappointed that they picked because I don't know if you get me. Like, as funny as it sounded, it wasn't funny at the time. And she picked.
You're determined to...
I wanted to just end it, you know. And she picked up the phone. Her name is Anne. Shout out to Anne. I just wish I meet you one day because God used you to save my life, you know. She picked up and she started saying, how old are you? I told her my age and she said, oh, you're young. What do you like to do? I said, I'm an actor. In Nigeria, I was a model. She said, oh my God, I studied acting as my minor in school. And she said, did you go to acting school? Did they teach you breathing exercises? I said, yeah. She said, do you know your breathing can work for anxiety? I said, oh, really? And then we practiced the breathing exercising on the phone. By the time she was done with me, over an hour, I was so tired. I didn't even know what to do, you know. And then she told me, okay, go to British Red Cross here in Cardiff, which happened to be in Oasis at the time. And then when I got to Oasis as well, shout out to Oasis Cardiff, they all kept asking me, what do you like to do? I said, I'm an actor. I just love to act. And they put me on a mentorship platform, put me in touch with Diverse Cymru. The same thing. They all kept asking me, what do you like to do? I'm an actor. So this person with Diverse Cymru said, okay, yeah, I'm going to look for acting opportunities for you. And that was how we found, you know, University of South Wales offering MA drama to asylum seekers. You can go through the Sanctuary Scholarship. And it took about 2 years to get that admission because that's another story for another day. It was a lot of barriers. No one was getting back to me. I have to also give a shout out to Jody Allinson because she really believed in me. And yeah, that was how I got my MA drama. And then after drama, I had questions again like, okay, thank you very much. Now MA certified, you know, how do I, you know, as a Black person in the industry, in this predominantly white industry, trying to navigate this, how do I stand out as a talent, you know? I don't speak like you, but most of the films I see I've not really seen people like me on the screen, you know? So I started asking personal branding questions and I didn't really get so much answers in drama school, which is fine. It's not there for them to do. It was for me to research, which was why I was like, okay, yeah, let me just study digital marketing. And I was so intrigued, you know. Someone like Kiki as well. That's Bukomi Adeaga Ilori. I don't know if you know her, Kiki. She also studied internet and digital marketing, I think, and she's doing fabulously well. So she's an actor as well. So I was like, okay, I think if I go to really learn this, and also you can't build if you're up and coming in the industry, you can't afford to build a life on just drama.
Yeah.
If you're not a known face. So
Yeah.
it was more like, let me solve my problem twice. The problem of personal branding and also the problem of probably a job eventually in the industry, which is why I ended up having the 2 master's degree.
Yeah, so it's quite interesting that in spite of the fact that you were feeling down at the moment, to that point, the lowest point of even thinking about, you got into a master's program and you nailed it, had a distinction, graduated with a distinction, got into a second master's, and you nailed it. So what were your thoughts while you were schooling? Had you put all the negatives behind you at a point?
Oh, okay. Another myth to debunk. It would be nice if I said, oh yeah, I just was positive, but it's not true.
Mm-hmm.
I was positive for the most of the time, but there were times when I was really scared. And there was a lawyer that told me, oh, I don't think you'll be allowed to study in the UK. Things like that. And by the time he was telling me, I'd already even had my admission. Mm-hmm. So, firstly, I have to tell you this. The people telling me the negative things, I had to separate myself from them. I had to give them a lot of distance, which is why I get misunderstood a lot. They're like, oh, she's proud now. She doesn't want to talk to us. It's not that. You just keep telling me things I don't want to hear because, words affect me. I'm a Christian. I have been taught that, faith comes by hearing and hearing by the word of God. So anything you hear, you become. So I've learned that from early stages of my life. So if you're saying things that is bringing my spirit down, draining me, first thing I would give you some and you're going to know. You're going to know that I'm giving you that distance. It's going to be so obvious and I'm not going to apologize for it. So I did that, firstly. And then also I did a lot of self-affirmation. Mm-hmm. And like I told you, people can drag me. It's fine. I'm a believer. Mm-hmm. What does God's word say about me? Right. He says I'm the head and not the tail.
Right.
I'm above and not beneath. If I'm made in the image of God, if I have the mind of Christ, if Christ sat for an exam, would he nail it? Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. And my full name is Teejay. It means I am for Jesus. Yeah. I shouldn't do any lower, because the Bible also says that greater works than this you will do. So he has even raised the bar for me. I have to surpass him. So the least I can actually have is a distinction.
Oh, interesting, because it means that most of the time you are positive and you're able to put a bit of the negatives behind you, which is quite interesting. So as an African working and as an African creative living and working in the UK, have you had this feeling of being misunderstood, unseen, or boxed into stereotypes?
Yeah, a lot. A lot. And I think it's a constant battle. Mm-hmm. To be honest, misunderstood a lot. I have to face that camera to say that. Boxed in a lot. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm a multifaceted person as well. I don't like being put in a box, Back in Nigeria, I was working. I had my 9 to 5 and I had my business. So this was my life in Nigeria, right? I would go to work 8 o'clock to 4 p.m., 4 p.m. go to the shop to 8 p.m. and then go to the house and sleep to resume work. And then go for weekend. I was also a makeup artist. Weekends, I would travel to do bridal makeup. And I was a filmmaker as well. And I would go on set and act. So I was always this girl that was doing a lot. So coming into this space, I just wanted to be that person. And then it started becoming a problem for a lot of people. They're like, oh, is she the only one? She wants to, I bring experience to the table. My BSc, I tell you, I don't even have a BSc. I have a Bachelor's of Agriculture. That's what I have. Yes. Mm. And I'm able to do an MA, a Master's of Arts. It's not adding up, Right. It's because I had the experience to back it up. So I've always been that person, but it's always been like, oh yeah, she's so ambitious. And I'm not even going to lie, my lecturers in school as well, during my MA drama, one of the feedback I got that was always coming back over and over is, you're very ambitious. Very ambitious, but
So was
interesting.
he saying it from a negative perspective or positive?
Okay, so at some point, I thought it was like, why do they keep saying ambitious, ambitious? So I felt it was a bit too much for me until I understood the meaning of what whenever they say ambitious here, I think it's a bit different from what we say in Nigeria. So what they say ambitious like is big. You're always wanting to do big things. But what they tell me is ambitious but interesting. So I'm like, okay, yeah, you find it interesting, fine. We can always deal with the ambitious part later.
Exactly, yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. It is what it is,
Yeah. So in many African homes, creatives often are often misunderstood.
Yeah.
And sometimes resisted. So as a young girl growing up in Nigeria and then eventually here, have you faced some bit of resistance along the path of your career?
Yeah.
from back at home?
Yes. My mom, God bless her.
Amen.
I think I crushed her dreams, to be honest. She wanted me to be a medical doctor. At some point, to her, if I didn't do medicine, I should be a chartered accountant. Oh, yeah. And she wasn't having it when I've always done drama since I was a child, but she thought it was just churchy, church things and everything.
Right.
And so each time I take like church drama, like really personally, she's just going to tell me, just know that, I don't know if the negativity was a lot. I'm not even going to lie. She even went as far, well, I'm so sorry, Mom, but she went as far as telling me, you're not a good actor. Yeah. And then we even had family meetings where they had to beg her to let me do what I really want to do. So when we started talking recently about it, and she told me one of the reasons why she was so resistant was because she had seen the lives of celebrities, especially their marriages, and for a mother that really wants her child to settle down on time and seeing how it's a lot of drama. I don't know if you get me. So she was like, that was like her biggest fear of her not wanting me to go in the creative
direction
side. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, so have you faced any around here? I know you've faced a bit around here, a bit of resistance and all of that.
I faced the law. It's not even a bit. I'm not going to lie. Like in Nigeria, you don't have the barrier of accent.
Yeah.
You don't have the barrier of skin color. You don't have the barrier of race. You don't have the barrier of being an immigrant. You are just you and you just want to do you. Here, you can hear the barriers already. And then I also face the barriers from like people that look like me as well. So I have to say this as well.
From
like
your own community.
Yes. They just don't get it. They're like, she wants too much out of life. And it became a problem. Even at some point, even with some of my previous employers, because I worked in the art space and I was always advocating for my art, to say, okay, yeah, I can do this, and then it was just they couldn't just process the fact that you can be an actor and also be a professional. People will tell you, we don't see that thing, but it's not true. It's just because they're like, you're this bloody immigrants, girl, just shut up, sit down, do your work and go get paid. You don't really want that drama around your life. But it stuck with me because I have to tell you this, right? I think it's because right from when I was young, I grew up as a lonely kid. I have beautiful younger ones, but there's a lot of space between us. So pretty much I was alone for a long time. So I would watch TV and honestly, I am not saying this because I'm trying to make myself look like a good girl. No, I was looking for answers. But one of my favorite channel on DSTV was TBN. And I would just watch Joyce Meyer. I would just watch TD Jakes. I don't know. I think those things really formed something inside of me.
Yeah.
I would watch people like Cindy Trim. And, I would even go on YouTube and see someone like Viola Davis. And then I just say, these people grew up in abject poverty, but they're here. So why can't I do it? So I think it just really formed a lot of my perception and how I see life. Like, I don't have to be one thing. I can be a lot of things and be successful with it. Yeah.
So it was like whatever you can dream about, whatever you can imagine, you can get there.
Exactly.
Yeah. So tell me about Edissa Studio.
Edissa Studios is my baby. Yeah. So, well, Edissa Studios, is a production company where I do film, TV, and theater. It's registered in Nigeria, but I'm still like trying to work it out here. And I really thank the Cardiff University of South Wales studio for giving me the opportunity to even hear my ideas, to them and stuff. So yeah, it's just Edissa Studios is a company where I produce my films, or theater. So I've produced about 5 films in total, but not all are under Edissa Studios. But for my own personal projects, I've done Breaking, Scarlet. I've done 4 actually that are not with that are not under Edissa's that are under Edissa Studios, but there are some I did not put the label of Edissa Studios. For example, my most recent project, Ajoke.
Yeah.
So I did it as a commissioning. So it was commissioned by Fio. So I didn't bother putting Edissa Studio because I was a producer. Like you can see my name written in almost all the credits. So really there's no point for now. But eventually, when I built this brand by God's grace to a very credible, because the industry is big on credibility and reputation, so once I build it to that, to that extent, now we can start commissioning films as well, commissioning theater, but I'm still building this personal brand, and my personal brand is me, yeah.
So TJ, you are deeply rooted in storytelling and transformation. What kinds of stories are you passionately interested in telling? And why do they matter to you?
Yeah, like I said, I like filling gaps.
Yeah.
Someone asked me a question like a few months ago, so I'm going to flip it a bit, right? He asked, okay, what is your dream role? What as an actor now? I think they're just fascinated about me, like they think I'm everywhere, right? So they were like, what do you even want to do? So they asked me, and I think they didn't expect the response they got from. So they were like, "What's your dream role? What would you like to? If someone gave you like a blanket check now, like pick your role." I said, "Well, I'm gonna pick a role of being a pastor's wife struggling with addiction."
Wow.
Yeah, and they were like, "Oh, I wasn't expecting." I said, "Well, these things happen.
Yeah,
but they just are not."
They are not
told enough.
Yes.
So these are the kind of stories I like to tell. Basically. Someone is a terrorist. Good. I'm not trying to say they're bad. They are good, I mean. But what made them into that? Do we know their background story? Yeah, put them in jail, it's fine. But what happened when they were growing up?
Exactly.
What made them think, what made them to start thinking that way?
Yeah.
So I think I'm just really curious about the things that people are like, oh yeah, he stole something, him, jail him, whatever, cool. But how did they grow up? What informed? And then maybe this happened to me because I also went for therapy. I don't know. I think therapy also formed a lot of my storytelling as well, because shout out to my therapist, Damola Ilesami. He asked me a lot of questions, very uncomfortable questions, like, what's your background? What was your childhood like? And the memories I didn't like to remember, I started remembering. And so this kind of, if you're bold enough to face your own demons, I think you can unearth other people's demons. So it's kind of like what I like to do, just to you fill gaps, make people see. I think this is it. So this is what I tell people. I like to show people who they really are without necessarily telling them who they really are.
Yeah, that's quite deep.
Yeah.
Deep, interesting. Are you saying that those formative years as a child matter a lot in the lives of adults?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, so the thing is, I'm very careful of speaking psychological wise now. So one thing you don't know is I'm actually on my 3rd master's.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm doing masters in pastoral counseling.
Wow.
Yeah, to major in marriage and family life. out of curiosity as well, and also out of instruction. And I feel led to do it because there's a gap in the body of Christ. There's a psychological gap in the body of Christ. A lot of people go to their pastors for counseling when they are meant to go to their psychologist or therapist. Yeah. So I'm very careful to answer that. But I would say a lot of psychologists have actually come out to say that, especially the first 6 years of a child's life, form a huge deal of what they're going to do later in life. So I'm just going to leave it at that because I don't want to go deep into
it matters that we're talking about this, honestly, because I've seen people who are narcissistic, who are sadists, who are unhappy people, and all they do is to spread that narcissism, depression, and sadness to other people they are married to, or even their family, their children.
Yeah.
And this is because their formative years were not good. It is interesting that your stories, the story you're telling, the films you're making, have got to do with these formative years, or asking that question. What did you know what happened to him? Do you know his background story and all of that? Very important, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I'm always asking, like, I'm going to quote Viola Davis, right? She says, the greatest question, and this is paraphrased, by the way, the greatest question an actor can ask is why. So, and as a filmmaker as well, I've got to ask why. A lot of things are happening in the world, but why? Do we really? Because a lot of people just like to complain and talk, and we're like angry, rant, but there's a reason to it, though.
Yeah.
So I'm not justifying it, but I want to show you why.
Yeah.
And tell me, if you had that childhood, would you have done better?
Exactly.
So these are the reasons why I do what I do.
So tell me, are there stories you are afraid to tell?
In the past years, I used to be afraid. For example, coming out as saying, "Oh, I'm an asylum seeker." That was something I wanted to take to my grave, actually, because I was warned, by family and everything. Oh, don't let anybody know. It's a stigma, whatever. And I figured that if I kept it would be keeping a very significant part of my life out.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know this. I told you I went to Women College of Ministry, but that's not the only school of ministry I've been to. I've been taught, and I know that there's a reason for my pain. And imagine having these years of pain and you just want to bury it. It's just not good for me, though. Sorry, I just like quoting people. Another thing I'm going to say, that same Viola Davis said, like, the definition of hell is on your deathbed, you meet the person that you could have become, So I don't want it to be that, oh, I should have maybe said this to someone out there struggling. Because immediately I came out, and this was what happened. It was so dramatic, right? I just set my camera and I just ranted to the camera and I posted it. A lot of people didn't like it, especially people close to me. But what it did for me was, firstly, I just broke the stigma. I figured that was having a lot of power over me. So it was like a force, bending me, like, oh yeah, I must not tell anybody. But the moment I said it, I'm like, oh yeah, so what? No, and that is it. So that was because I remember when I wanted to do breaking, I had an acting coach then. And he said, why not just come in front of the camera and say you're an asylum seeker? I said, oh my God, they're going to kill me. I'm not going to do that, blah, blah. So I found a way to tell the story. Yeah. And I didn't tell people it was like, this is my story. So it was like it wasn't my story, but it was like a part fiction, part fact story. And it got to a time, I think the pain was so much. And I think this is what happens to me, right? Or what has happened to me personally. If a pain becomes so unbearable, I don't even think of ever anymore. Mm-hmm. I'm like, okay, if it's this bad, there must be a reason why.
Yeah.
And I'm going to live enough to tell that story. If it helps one person. And the moment I came out to say it, I remember an asylum seeker in my house walked up to me and said, thank you for speaking for us. So like, things like that, you can't buy things like that, So there's probably someone struggling, and someone came to me. I had a lot of messages, The video did about 6K views in 24 hours. So I had to archive it, at some point. On Instagram, it was like people were just really texting me, oh, I didn't know you were an asylum seeker. I didn't know you were struggling. And thank you for speaking, And then I figured like, I didn't even know there was a gap in the media, for this thing, maybe you needed to see that not all asylum seekers are what you think they are. And I'm going to say it again. Not all of us came on the boat. I came by British Airways.
Yeah.
Not all of us are people. Not all of us are people. We're not taking your jobs. Hey, I don't have a job right now. I'm going through a lot. But yeah. So,
So having at the time you came out to say it publicly to the world, what did that make you feel? How did you feel?
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna lie. The 3 days consistently after that, I could not sleep because I'm like,
Why?
oh my God, your story is out there now. I had this so I felt good saying it, but there was another part of me saying, oh my God, now everybody knows your story. Now if I, especially, as a female, oh yeah, nobody's going to marry you. They know you don't have papers.
Yeah.
You're a liability. You messed it up for yourself.
Yeah.
The guys that are running after you will run away because now at least they know that this is who you are. And I think after that, I don't know. I was just like, well, no. Another thing is the lady that walked up to me as well. I think she didn't know what she did though. By telling me that you spoke for us, I'm like, oh, okay, at least I was able to speak for some people. Right. Maybe I'm just a mouthpiece because someone even saw me on the street one day. I said, why are you always like this? Must you tell the old one what you're going through? And honestly, I was convinced actually that I should say it was on a Sunday. So I went to church that day.
Wow.
Yeah, I went to church and people were sharing testimony on the altar and I was crying. And I'm sure someone beside me, the person beside me would think, why is she crying? You're not the one giving the testimony, right? And then it was baptism Sunday, as soon as the person shared a story, I started crying. And I heard in my spirit, see what sharing your story can do. You're seeing that lady in another light now. Yeah. Why not share yours so people can see?
Frees you.
Yeah, people can see you because there's social media. You package things a lot. You saw like especially the eater I get in the industry is like, oh yeah, she's too much. She wants too much. She wants things to go our way. Whatever. Okay, I have struggles too. Maybe you see this and you know that I choose. Once you see a movie, just know that I chose to do it. It wasn't easy. I have every reason not to do whatever. If I want to just sit down in the house and be jobless, I can. And I would have enough reason to do that. But I choose to show up. I choose to write these stories. I choose to tell people you are not meant to be defined by one thing. My immigration status does not define me.
Right.
So and like we said, hope, Yeah, the Bible says hope makes not ashamed because we have the love of God shared abroad in our hearts. So I'm a big believer of hope and I know that things will just have to get better regardless. Yeah.
Faith seems to be a big part of your journey, of your life. And even in this conversation.
Yeah, I've quoted a lot of scriptures. Yeah.
So how has faith helped you in moments of rejections, in moments of your down times and those times when you felt the world is against me?
Okay. I think this podcast is going to make people really see the real TJ now, right? I would say that I talk to God. I just talk. Like, when I feel the world is against me, I just chat with God. And however it comes out, I really don't care, to be honest. Remember the story I told you where I was giving him conditions. Yeah. I can't, but anyways, I think it worked eventually. Yeah. So I just, it depends. If I'm numb, I'm unable to say anything. I just keep saying, God help me, God help me. Right? Eventually, when I'm able to talk, then I tell him how I'm feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And a big part of my journey, well, I know there are lots of beliefs in the world, but this is what has worked for me, right? Is the Bible. I just, Hebrews 11, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. By this, the elders obtained a good report.
Yeah.
Like, I go back to the word. What does the word of God say about me? And I'm not going to lie, they make me closer to God. They make me know more scriptures. And I sometimes even feel like that's the reason why I go through some of my stuff, because I feel like maybe God feels like, okay, I think he needs to know more. Let's allow some things to happen so she can. And it's been working. I've learned. So what I do, or what I've been graced to do, is to apply God's word in a secular space. Recently I heard in my spirit that I have a secular, I want to say it the way I heard it. I have a secular calling with a spiritual mandate. So I apply the word of God and I use it, secularly, which is what, it's not new. Daniel did it. Esther did it. A lot of people in the Bible did it. So yeah, I'm just doing mine.
That's deep. I want to hear more about the secular and the spiritual mandate. Yeah.
Well, I'm also still learning. I'm still trying to figure out life. Because I kind of struggle with the two part of me, because I'm deeply spiritual and I can be so secular, honestly. And even my friends don't even understand it. I myself, I didn't understand it. So I had to do a lot of scriptural searching, and then I figured that if Joseph was in Cardiff 2026, what would he do?
Exactly.
Same thing. If Esther was in Cardiff in 2026, she went for a beauty pageant for a king, showing herself, and she was dipped in these beauty oils and for a year, for crying out loud. Who does that? It's vanity. And see what God used that to do. So it's really going back to people that did it in old time past and trying to maybe see, put them in today's world and see if Daniel was here, what would he have done in 2026? And that is, I'm still trying to figure it out. Honestly, I don't have it all figured out.
I read a book some years back. It's titled "Be Human, Be Holy." And what the author was trying to say is that you can be holy, but you can be a human being living in the earth with people. So spiritual and secular at the same time. You don't have to be a monk. You don't have to be a nun. You don't have to hide yourself somewhere. You live in the world with human beings, but you can also be holy. And St. Augustine says, grace builds on nature. So the grace you have becomes operational in your human daily living.
Exactly.
And I think I have an understanding of the direction of the secular and the spiritual.
And the spiritual.
Yeah, which is very important. Now, you have performed at Black History Months.
Yeah.
And some multicultural platforms. And I just want to ask, what are the kinds of conversation do you think Africans or Africa and the diaspora should be having around identity and belonging, especially with the African identity in the diaspora?
That's a very deep and controversial question.
Controversial?
Yeah, really controversial, because I studied identity during my MA drama.
Okay.
It became a big problem at some point as well for, even my classmates, I was just so curious, and I was like, okay, we have to start somewhere. And so I figured, oh yeah, I cannot deny the fact I'm Black. I'm different here.
Yeah.
So firstly, one of the things that icks me most about Africans in the diaspora is we see ourselves as lesser than other races unconsciously. We can say, oh yeah, we are not different. A lot of times we see ourselves as lesser. And this is how I get to know. We perform, right, for the people of the other races. When they are around, a lot of my friends are no longer relaxed. and they just, square up, sit up straight, and then I love the code switching thing though. Like, if you can do it very well. Like, yeah, get your money, it's fine. But it's just, then when they go, you hear things like, oh, you can never be as good as a white person. So like, I think and I'm still figuring life out as well in my little years in life, but like, they are humans. We are all humans at the end of the day. And if you see yourself as you're an African, you can't take that away from yourself. If you lie and say you're British, whatever, it's fine. You can't. I also want to be British one day. It's fancy, and I really appreciate it. I would really appreciate the government. Please just give me my papers and let me go. But anyways, as I was saying, is it true? Like, see yourself. Like, you can't deny your roots, right? You cannot deny it. And as a cultural person as well, like, I dance bata. That's one of the things I do. Bata is like a very Asian dance in southwestern Nigeria, and it does not make me any less of somebody that is going to be one day be British, And so, like, be true to yourself. I think you're gonna even enjoy that more, to be authentically you. You show up more confident, because I don't know, it's just it's like I said, it's a very controversial thing. But my point is, just don't see yourself as lesser than any other race. Like, it's not worth it. Just be the best you can be regardless. I think I'm just going to leave it there.
Yeah, because I personally also do not understand why you will think yourself less a human or feel less. Because we've got the same blood, the same brains, the same. I mean, not the same in that sense, but the same in the sense of these are biological organs. The same thing. I could donate blood to anybody, right? And the point for me fundamentally should be that everybody should go work on themselves and be the best you can be, and that is, I mean, the good book says, Scripture says that the world is waiting for our manifestation, right? For the manifestation of the sons and daughters of God. We should go out there to manifest what is put inside of us. There's greatness in each and every one of us. And if you think less of yourself, well, fine and good. If you think that you can get there, excellent. You can get there. I mean, I don't want to just say a lot about this, but I think every African should see himself as being possible. Each time I see the word impossible, do you know what I think about, TJ? When I see the word impossible, I just think of an apostrophe after the I.
I am possible.
That's what I think.
That's clocky.
That's all the time. Always what I think of. Each time I see that word impossible, I just know that I'm possible. And that should be the mentality. Go out there and be the best version of yourself. And you can do it. Because greatness lies in each and every one of us. The way I see it, like a man releases, a husband releases over 500 million sperms into his wife. Let's take it out. Let's put it in context. 500 million children. And all of them are swimming. Only one gets to fertilize that egg. And one fertilizes that egg without leg, without hands, without eyes, you did it in your mama's womb. How comes you can't do it here?
Yeah.
That's what drives me.
Well, I think it's a mindset. It's a mindset. Yeah, it's a mindset thing, which is why I'm really passionate about counseling, psychology. I think it's so underrated, especially even in the African community. Mm-hmm. People, when you mention mental health, people think, it's too, I can't, especially our men, please, but I have to tell you the truth. Let's go there. Men will tell you, no, I am not sitting down in front of anybody. No, do they have their lives together? Why should you expect me to? I don't know. It's important. The mindset is very important. Well, if you don't go for therapy, this is another thing I learned from Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah.
And another person has told me recently, his name is Mojana. Oprah Winfrey says she has never been to therapy. But she says every day she writes 10 things she's grateful for every single day. So I think it helps her to see things in a positive light. But another thing is Oprah Winfrey has a lot of mentors, people like Maya Angelou, so she has, she has developed her mindset, to think possibility.
She has tapped from all of these different
Yeah.
She has stood on their shoulders.
Yeah.
And one thing I wanted to ask is, do you think that Joyce Meyer seems to be your mentor? Not in that sense, like you speak to her, but have you been able to get into her mind through her videos, through her books? So can we get mentored that way?
Yeah, you can, because I would, like I told you, and I think till date, DSTV, my favorite channel is still TBN.
Yeah.
It got to a point my mom was a bit concerned because she was like, he's preaching. I'm sorry, can I say it? You're this preaching, sha. But mom, you named me to just what do you expect though? Like this preaching. And I think one of the things that made me glued to that screen was she has a tag phrase. It is called enjoying everyday life. And at the time I wasn't enjoying everyday life. So I was like, is it possible for someone to enjoy? And I was like in secondary school. So it's possible for someone to enjoy everyday life. So I have to listen to this woman. And her story is like really deep, And for someone to have gone through that pain and say you can enjoy everyday life, then there's something she knows I need to know.
Yeah.
She's not the only one. I wouldn't say, maybe it's mentorship, I don't know. But I'm not going to lie, Joyce Meyer was a big influence. It got to a point I was even writing letters to South Africa and I was getting like our magazines, and there was a time like my family opened their PO box and it was full with Joyce Meyer's magazines, and then they brought them. They're like, TJ, we thought it was only TV. We didn't know you were, So it was, I think Joyce Meyer just really made me see you never know, like you said, she's just doing a thing. She doesn't know there's a TJ somewhere or there was a TJ somewhere in Nigeria watching, but mindset shift is a big thing, because sometimes I just even want to give up on the things I do. And then I just listen to, I don't know if you know Cindy. Do you know Dr. Cindy Trim?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I listen to Cindy Trim and I'm like, you've not even started. Girl, get up. She came from Bermuda, from abject poverty, became a senator, and got told that resign, go to the US, start all over again. And I would say my biggest mentor actually is the Holy Spirit, because when I read the Bible, I tell him to interpret to me. And there's a part in Psalms, I can't remember, maybe Psalm 2, he says, what do you want? Do you want continent? I will give it to you till the ends of the earth. If God can give me continent, oh my God. And it is possible, because Elon Musk, hello, like the Dangotes,
there's so many.
They owned. Are you going to tell me across if you remove Dangote from Nigeria, Nigeria is not going to shake?
Yeah, across the African continent.
Across Africa, yeah.
Across beyond Africa. Dangote's got influence across Africa.
Yeah.
And truth be told, this there are people that are doing their things, and others are getting mentored, others are getting influence, and so that is the point. Just go out there and do your thing. Be the best version you could be. Somebody is waiting to see you do that thing that has been put into you, so that they can also do their best, because they've seen you do it. Just like you said, I mean, there are people you've watched and you thought, look, I've not even started. So it is, if you feel that I'm not going to sit before somebody who is going to be a therapist or a counselor and all of that, you can do that through the books. You can do that through the good books, the Bible. The Holy Spirit can help you and all of that, which is very important. Yeah. Yeah. So Teejay, tell me about some of the awards and the accolades you've gotten.
Okay. I think I will start from when I was an undergraduate.
Right.
I got awarded 3 times for most enterprising female and most enterprising and most resourceful in school. Then I don't really like counting my awards, to be honest, because it's cool for not paparazzi now, to make people see that, oh yeah, I have the potential to deliver stuff. But I'm a work in progress, so But yeah, I got those 3 awards, and I really appreciate it more now, because even now when the society keeps telling me, giving me like 100 reasons why I should not continue, and I'm like, TJ, you did that like even when you were like way younger, you can do it now.
No.
So yeah, and then also Clat's Actor to Watch Award, I was nominated as one of 6 actors.
Where?
In Wales,
Yeah, in the UK,
Yeah, and then also The Journey Within, which we produced with Watch Africa. I produced with Watch Africa, and then it's a group of 5 though, so I can't take the credit myself. Also, I think we were selected for PAF, Pan-African Film Festival as well, and then we won Watch Africa Film Festival Awards for both audience and jury. Then Afriball called recently. There are lots, Cultural Shaper, they want to honor me for that. Thank you to Afriball. And also Sherman Theatre recognized me in 2022 as one of 7 women, to be featured, Honestly, I can't remember all.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It is interesting that you're getting this visibility, and it is quite inspiring, especially for younger girls and women who are looking up to you. You never can tell the number of people who go through your social media handles and are getting really inspired. But one question popping in my head right now is, beyond all of these accolades and awards, what are the unseen sacrifices, the disappointments, and the difficult seasons that are not always out there?
Wanting to give up is number one. I told people, like, my second master's degree, I wanted to drop out like God knows how many times. There were times I was like, oh yeah, I don't think I want to do this again. Because it was really hard. It was so hard because I was trying to navigate my case, with the Home Office, and then there are these voices in your head telling you, you shouldn't be doing this. I don't know if you get me. Then also, like, friends, being different, wanting to do stuff because, and I do think from a purpose-driven perspective, but I figured that a lot of people that are my mates are not like that.
Yeah.
A lot of my mates feel like, which is not bad. I also want to get married and have kids. So, like, I really love family. But they just feel like that should be your ultimate goal in life. Just have a good family, And I remember a classmate of mine even told me, oh, if you don't have kids, that means you've not made any impact in life. Wow. Yeah. So imagine, like, I can't be too close with such a person. I don't know if you get me, like, because it's not adding up for me. Yeah. So they're going to have to fall off. Yeah. And because I love people, so that's a sacrifice there. I have to choose my beliefs over, that friendship, so like, and also another big sacrifice I've had to make over time is with money, because, to really put, investment in because I'm really investing in my personal brand, in my career and everything. People think I'm stupid. Sometimes, I put a lot of my money. Sometimes I put the last into making sure that the film gets produced, and I get broke. And then,
honestly, because I was going to ask you, have there been times you've gone hungry?
Yeah, it's hard. It's very hard, and it's a lot, and a lot of tears. A lot of tears, a lot of it. A lot of tears, ugly tears, just trying to, because sometimes you don't even feel seen. And the only consolation I have is I know that I'm going somewhere, and it's not only for me. The Bible says I'm a joy of many generations. So I have to work this thing out. Whatever is inside of me that is not making me sleep at night. Tyler Perry would say that if he keeps you up at night every single time, then you need to pay attention to it. So, yeah, but once I pay attention to it, a lot of things happen. I lose friendships. I don't know if you get me. Even my family think I'm stupid. Why can't you just go and work in care? Why are you sticking to the arts industry? I would have probably been so rich right now if I, just go through the traditional route. And I've had friends that left me because I decided not to work in care, because they are working in care. And there's nothing wrong in caring for people. I love people, but I just see myself in this art industry and I'm trying to work it out. And they feel like, oh yeah, you think you're going to be the next, give me a name in in Hollywood,
Like Tyler Perry?
Yeah. Oh yeah. They think you're going to be the next person to blow or whatever. You're deceiving yourself and blah blah. And then, honestly, I'm not gonna lie. One of the things that pains me the most on my journey is losing people along the way because they just don't get it.
No, but I think if they go on their own, it's because they truly speaking, we're not friends. Fundamentally. It is good that they are leaving. You know why? Because they are the ones who will share the testimony sincerely. You see, they will be the ones who say, see, we knew TJ, we knew her, we knew the pains and the struggle. In fact, we even cut ties with her because we didn't even understand if whatever success she's enjoying right now, she worked hard for it. These same people will say, that's how it is. The same people who said Hosanna were the same people who said crucify him.
True.
So that is it. It's going to come through. Just
Hopefully.
what I would say is keeping on.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you mentor people, you counsel people around faith and personal growth and development. What part of your pains and struggle have helped you do this effectively?
So I try not to bring my personal opinion to when people come to me for counseling, and I don't do like professional counseling, but a lot of younger people, I can tell you, I can't even count my babies across the world. God bless them. I really love them, honestly. And you know when I know that, shout out to all of you.
Yeah.
You know when I know that I'm making an impact, it's on my birthday.
Wow.
Oh my God. My birthdays, I usually spend on the phone every time. Like someone just calls me randomly. Oh, Sister TJ, thank you so much for telling me this. You remember when I was struggling? You know, there are very many like that, you know, and I each time they come to me, I try as much as possible not to tell them my personal experience, but I figure that it's actually my personal experience that touches them the most.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's even my Instagram. Like they see, you know, what I'm doing. I remember there's someone that reached out to me and said, you know, you've always said you wanted to be an actor. And back in OAU, we were all thinking you were joking. But now seeing you, yeah. And he just told me, seeing your growth, I know I cannot give up.
Did you remember him back in school?
Yeah, he's younger than me. He's younger. And then each time I tell them that they used to look at me like she's joking, you know, because I was mama in school. So mamas don't act, you know. We are just meant to be the prayer warriors and cook for the people. So we rarely act in school. Because I was I was a delegate for Gloria Bamiloye in Obafemi Awolowo University. So a part of Mount Zion is called Vision Carriers, right? And Vision Carriers are the praying arm of Mount Zion, and it consists of women. So for OAU, I was the representative, the head representative, the delegate. So yeah, so imagine that kind of a role, you know. You have to just be praying. You have to be praying. But it was in drama and everything. So I kept telling my friends, I'm gonna act in secular industry. They were like, oh, they were always laughing. I don't know if you get me. It was impossible.
Exactly.
It was so vague, you know. But seeing things that I'm doing now, they come back to me. The younger ones, I don't know. I think it's the younger ones because some of my mates still don't get it. I'm not going to lie. But the younger ones, they're like, Sister TJ, thank you for not giving up. I'm seeing it. And blah, blah. So I think seeing that journey from afar sometimes as well, and seeing the tears, they know what some of them know, like, oh my gosh, she didn't have it easy. And seeing that I'm still here, still standing, has really inspired them to keep moving on.
Yeah, I think it is so important that people could, just like we said earlier, that you just do some certain things and you don't know who you are inspiring, you know. And that's what we must keep doing, because we mentor a lot of people and we are being mentored by others who are just doing their own things.
Yeah.
You know. Now in TJ, in African creatives are the creative industry, especially in Africa, or by Africans, especially those even in diaspora and back at home. That industry is growing globally. Seriously. But many are suffering from support and visibility. So what would you like to see change in the next few decades or in the next decade in terms of support for African creatives?
Are you saying African creatives in
diaspora?
In diaspora or in Nigeria?
In diaspora, particularly in diaspora.
We need help. It's a lot. It's a lot going on. We need help. We need a lot. I think, like I said, it's a mindset. We need to even start from the mindset shift. There's a friend of mine, that told me recently, and I've said it a while ago as well, that he said, you can't be as good as the white people. Things like that. And he's an African. So if he is thinking that way, do you know how many people are thinking that way? So it's like we even need a reorientation first. Then we can now. So there's this social enterprise I'm putting together called Kindred Voices.
Right.
It's a gathering of people from the global majority in film, TV, and theater. And the plan that I feel could work, because I'm still trying to work on the business model, is we help them a person-centered counseling or a person-centered well-being first to get them to be transformed, empowered. Yeah. And then we see their results, and then they in turn help the community. I think, firstly, community is key to, but what are the community members telling each other? Because now I'm even scared to. Before, I used to feel like my people are like my nationalities and Africans, but now I'm beginning to see that my people are actually the people that believe in the same things with me. Period. And before I could say it's really painful, but I think maybe colonization affected us, making it seem like you have to neglect, even in schools, they will ban your native language, so all of, all of those things has made us feel like, oh, if I don't put on an English outfit, I really don't fit in. So, because I really love African prints, and then I've been criticized for that as well. People have said, oh yeah, you're local in this, you can't be global because you're wearing Ankara, or so like a mindset shifts first, then community, because I feel like community can really help, but what are we feeding each other in those communities as well? Like, we have to empower each other deliberately. So, and also we need funding, we need money to do stuff. People are very talented. I can tell you, I have a couple of friends that we all started in Nigeria together as actors and whatnot, but each time I talk to them, I don't see the zeal, inside of them to want to continue. But I know they are so talented. And the reason is because I just feel like, first, where do I start from? Who's going to help me? Who's going to feed me if I leave my job? So I think community, and then we Africans that have the access should also do something to help others. Yeah. Is it Davido that said we rise by lifting others?
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think it's going to really work that way.
A long way. Yeah, my son was 4 or 5. His name is Jason. When he went to school one day, he told them, "Don't call me Jason. Call me Oshoma."
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so his African name is Oshoma. He says, "Don't call me Jason. Call me Oshoma." So when I come, or mommy comes to pick them from school, and you go, "Jason, Jason," and you call the others, he won't answer. Honest. He won't answer. You have to say Oshoma. They call him Oshoma. It's Oshoma. So when they say Oshoma, then he says, yes. We need to be proud of our African roots, of who we are as Africans. It's very important. We cannot be any other except Africans. This is what we've got. This is our heritage. Yeah, and very important. So TJ, you've built across beauty, wellness, and social impact. What does success really mean to you now compared to before?
Before I used to think fame was success. That was, I think drama school redefined my mind, and which is why I'm struggling to even, to be with people that don't really see things from my point of view, because and when you have it, let's not lie, we know, master's degree is academic, but I did a lot of research on that course, right? And I remember my supervisor, I just put success, one of my assignments, I put success as one of the yardsticks, and he asked me, what is success? And I felt like, oh yeah, being famous, being the Hollywood star was a success. And I figured, no, that's not success. It is, it's in a way, but that's not the first step to being successful. You have to be successful here first before you, whatever that looks like on the outside. So for me now, success is even waking up and deciding to be the best version of yourself. Yeah. And if that translates into being a Hollywood star, good. If that translates into being a good mom, great. So for me, I would say success is fulfilling your purpose. Yeah.
In whatever aspect of
field
life.
aspect. And also, I know this is not a popular opinion. I believe you can have a well-rounded life. I've had friends and people tell me, oh yeah, you're a workaholic, you cannot have a good home. Yes. They tell me, the way you're working, there's no man that will stay with you.
Wow.
Yes. And they even say sometimes like, oh, well, you can only marry a mumu, somebody that would just stay in the house and just be doing yes, and then you'll be cheating on him, getting contracts, and for me right now, I feel like success would be, having a well-rounded life. I just want people to see that it's possible, my life doesn't have to be perfect, but yeah, I'm going to have a very good home. I'm going to have good kids, and I'm still going to be, the best version of myself.
Yeah, it is so important that you keep that positive mindset. And just like you said earlier about the mindset shift or the mind shift thing, we need to change that whole concept of negativity. And if a lot of people will be a little bit more positive, I think a whole lot of things will change.
Yeah.
So have there been times or moments when you questioned your path completely? You questioned everything and you thought about giving up?
Yeah, 1st of January 2021.
Yeah.
I can't forget that date. It's a memorial. There are several times, even after that time.
Yeah.
After that time, I had another episode of ideation. This time around, it was stronger. No, it was really strong as well. And it came from realizing the fact that a lot of the people I had around me then, they were interested in taking more than giving. I don't know if you get me. And also, I'm not going to lie, a lot of Africans in the diaspora go through that pressure as well. People who is pouring into you. You are just sending money back home. You are there, you show up for friends. And then especially the people that are very good, and they appear to be strong, and they appear to have it all together. So sometimes I usually have this moments of realization, and I take scores of my friends around me to see who is taking more than giving, who is, I just really take stock, and at the time I just realized that, oh my days, you really don't have people pouring into you that much. A lot of people want to take and take and take and take, and that was when I just felt like, oh, I don't think my life is worth it. I think I'm just gonna go, So that was another time. But thanks to mindset shifts, because I do a lot of affirmations and confessions, scriptural confessions. So I think I heard some words as well. Because I was really going to do it. And then I just kept hearing those things. They kept coming back to my head. You are more than this, I just kept hearing those positive words, and then I just could not, and then I slept off. So yeah.
Wow. So through stories and films and storytelling, what are those ideas that the world still needs to hear about Africans, immigrants, and Black experiences that have not been fully told?
I would say the struggles of African women, Black women. We go through a lot. I'm not trying to make us feel like victim. I know, like, this is like cliche. Oh yeah, the black woman. Honestly, it's a lot. Like, it's a whole lot. Being a woman, sometimes I don't like this gender war. I'm not a feminist. I don't identify as one. I'm God's child, period. Just leave me alone, right? women still go through a lot regardless. Because I don't really like people putting me in that box of, oh yeah, but like her hair, a lot of women, you would notice that, or a lot of African girls, when it comes to, I don't know if you've noticed that, you'll see a trend of they just cut their hair at some point because it's a lot. We spend a lot of money on keeping and then if you don't, men will not find you attractive. It's just a lot. Yeah, it's a lot we're not talking about. These things are real.
I can relate because my wife cuts her hair.
Okay, good. It's a lot of money, and then she wants to. She probably even is looking. Is my husband finding me attractive every day? I want to, and then as a single person as well, she's like, "Oh my God, your time is going. You need a man to." And then it's just a lot. And then in the workplace as well, I remember a couple of friends told me that if you're a black woman, they just automatically have something against you. I'm like, why? Like maybe because they feel like we are. There's a term called angry black woman. I don't know if you've heard it.
Yeah.
They feel like we're loud, we are.
Yeah.
So like, give us grace. I think that was what I would say. Like, give us. We are human too, and we are dealing with a lot. As a woman as well, there are lots of things going on in the hormones side, which we have to talk about it. And these are some stories I also want to talk about. Like women have a lot of hormonal things, going on. And she doesn't even want to talk about it because she doesn't want to be shamed. And there's also age shaming as well. The biological whatever is ticking. It's just comparison as well. I don't know. They like to compare, this person, and it's just a lot. And I feel like a woman should just really know herself and know her self-worth. I have been on a journey of self-worth. I think that is what will really help. Like, yeah, just really be on a journey of self-worth. It takes a lot, but yeah, and we can help each other as well.
Yeah.
Women supporting women is a thing, but like we need to make it a real thing, not to be biased or not to be partial. But I think it takes one to see one, So if you and another thing that icks me is that some people just feel like, oh yeah, because she's African, I don't want it to be like I'm gumming myself to her. I just want to go to the other races, so I can get accepted there and whatever. And then, but I think it's also a question of self-worth because you're looking for validation.
Yeah.
I don't know. So, but yeah, it's at the end of the day, just be on a journey of self-worth and choose whatever lane you want to be. But yeah, there's a lot of struggles we go through, to be honest.
What I'm thinking was, I can't remember who said that. Just trying to get that name. It's just behind my head. It says, just burn and the world, just set yourself on fire. The world will watch you burn. Right? The world will come around. You don't need to beg for visibility. You don't need to struggle for it. Just do your thing. Right? It's just like sugar. Once you keep sugar out there, ants will come. The ants will come.
Yeah.
Ants will always be there. You talk a lot about empowerment and transformation, TJ.
Yeah.
What is that personal transformation journey or personal transformation idea in your life that you are most grateful for?
Personal transformation idea that I'm most grateful for. There are several,
Yeah. So I'm not boxing you into one idea or thought.
I would say is honestly, because every other thing is anchored on my faith. So I would say is realizing that God loves me. It was hard, being rejected by a father. It's hard to even accept a heavenly father, So, and one of the things when I first got properly born again, because I was born again several times,
Which is okay.
Yeah, but the moment I decided that, okay, yeah, this God Jesus thing, let's even see how this thing will work out, I kept hearing, and I hear a lot, from the spirit, and one of the phrases that I kept hearing in my spirit was, be yourself, be yourself, be yourself. And so that has transformed me in a lot of ways. And I think that's even the secret behind my confidence. Because even when the whole world is shaking and everything, everybody's saying whatever noise, I just keep hearing, just be yourself.
Yeah.
You are enough. I think it's still the same meaning as you are enough. So that has transformed me. It has made me, because no matter the opportunities the society or people give me or whatever, if I don't see myself as enough, and that I'm enough because there's somebody, God made me and I'm enough. I'm enough. And I have to keep telling myself over and over and over again that I have to be myself because I matter. So that has really transformed how I see everything. Because sometimes I don't even feel like I'm enough to, do the films or write the poems or whatnot. But once I hear, just be yourself. You're enough. It helps me. So I think it's daily transformation for me, to be honest.
Oh, lovely. So finally. No, not yet.
Okay.
What is that thing about legacy that you want to be remembered for beyond the fame, the awards, and the accomplishments?
What I want to be remembered for is she never gave up.
Right.
Yeah. Despite the odds. Yeah, she never gave up, because there's a reason why the Bible says I'm the joy of many generations. So, and it says many. So, so
generations.
Yeah. She never gave up. And so whoever is in Molete, Kubwa, whatever, Edo, Bini, Kaduna, just name it, even here, Cardiff, Valleys, whoever reads my story or watches my clip, I just want them to see that regardless, she never gave up. Yeah.
That's quite strong. Thank you. So finally, this is like a traditional or ritual question we ask every guest about African possibility. When you think about the future, what is one possibility for Africa and Africans across the world that gives you the most hope?
I would say that we are emerging. And we're emerging because we are embracing ourselves more now. Afrobeat is like really global. Nollywood films are like, and it's because we are telling authentic stories. See the stories that are doing well in the box office. They are actually not the stories that are trying to copy the other races. They are authentic stories. So we are emerging. We are seeing that. I don't know if the other Africans are catching up with it, but the ones, look at Fela and Anikulapo Kuti, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Authenticity. So I would say that we are emerging, and I wish we could be more authentic. And the more authentic we are, because we are powerful. And I'm not saying we are more powerful than any other continent or anything. I'm just saying we are powerful, period. Let's start from there.
Yeah.
There's no need to compare.
Yeah.
Let's just embrace because we have a habit of shifting our focus from ourselves to, let me see what that they are doing so I can do it. What about you? There's something you have that you're not even using. And then, so if your Africanness is not a limitation, it's an opportunity. If you see it that way, I think if we all see it that way, we are going to emerge. We're going to be empowered, and we are going to heal, because there's a lot of healing also that needs to happen in the African community.
Yeah, I'm thrilled because, I like that statement. Your Africanness is not a limitation by every means. It is an opportunity. Great. Good signature. Every guest leaves a question for the next guest.
Okay.
So the previous guest left a question for you.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, let's have it.
Yes. So the question is, if today was your last day, what would you regret not doing more of?
If today was my last day on earth,
yes,
what would I regret?
Yes. What would be your biggest regret? Not doing of the things you're supposed to do and you didn't do. Remember that I love that definition of Viola Davis of hell.
Yeah.
I think I saw it this week or so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what would be your biggest regrets?
I don't even think I would have a regret, to be honest. But maybe I don't know. No, it's not a conventional answer. But I would say it's not going to be a regret though, but I probably need to do more of it. Is to tell my mom that I love her. Yeah.
Yeah, but that is it. That will be it.
Because I tell her though.
Now you're saying more.
Yeah, I have to tell her.
That's what
more.
the question says.
Yeah,
What would be
okay.
your regret of
doing
what
yeah.
would you regret not doing more
of? Yeah. Telling my mom that I love her. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a reason for that.
Yeah. Good. Well, when she watches this, she will know that you really do.
I don't want her to watch it. Because I don't want her to. She's going, why did you go and tell your story?
Trust me, she's going to see it. So.
No.
Anyway, that's interesting. So finally, who do you think you want to see seated on that seat
in this place
to tell their story?
To tell their story. Oh my God. You should have asked me this before coming. Tell someone whose story is worth sharing.
Yeah. Whose story do you want to hear?
I think it will be, oh my God, what's her name now? Oh wow, I can't remember her name, you know. We did the journey within together, and she's I'm not sure if she's fully blind now, but she was partially blind when we were filming the journey within. And oh my God, why can't I remember your name? Anyways, and she has with her partial blindness, she was really with her blindness, she was able to get a master's degree in pharmacy, and a lot of people told her she couldn't do it, and she did it. So our story is really inspiring. And from when we shot the film, she said in 6 months' time she was going to be fully blind. Yeah, I think. Yeah, but she's not an African though. She's
our audience is African, but our guests must not necessarily be Africans.
Right. Yeah. So I think she's Pakistan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she's from Pakistan. I'm not too sure. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. That's the person that came to my mind.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Teejay. You're going to leave your own question in the African Possibility Journal for the next guest when we're done.
Okay.
And thank you for coming and thank you for sharing the story. Quite inspiring. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.